Websites are very useful. They let you share things with many people. You can share your stories, you can share your pictures, you can share your interesting ideas with the whole world. So many people use websites every single day. They use them to find information and to learn new things. They use them to buy things they need. They also use them to talk with their friends and family. Think of a website as your very own special place on the internet. The best part is, you can learn to build it all by yourself. HTML is a very important part of every website. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That sounds complicated, but it is not. Think of HTML like the bones in your body. Bones give your body its shape. They hold everything in the right place. HTML does the same thing for a website. It gives the website its structure. HTML uses special words called tags. These tags are like instructions. They tell the web browser what to show on the page. For example, a tag can tell the browser this text is a main heading or this text is a paragraph. We will learn some of these easy tags soon. CSS is also very important for making websites. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. If HTML provides the bones or the structure, then CSS is like the clothes and the paint. CSS makes your website look good and presentable. It is what you use to add beautiful colors. It is how you change the style of the text, like the font. It helps you arrange all the different parts on the page so they look neat. Without CSS, all websites would look very plain and quite boring. CSS helps you make your website feel unique and much more attractive to everyone who visits. It also helps people to read your website content more easily. In this easy guide, we are going to build a very simple website together. We will use HTML to create the basic structure, like the skeleton. Then, we will use CSS to add some style and make it look nice, like putting on clothes. We will go through each step, one by one. It will be very easy for you to follow along with the instructions. You do not need to know anything about coding before you start. By the end of this guide, you will have created your very own first web page. Isn't that an exciting thought? Let us begin this fun journey into making websites. Every HTML page you create needs a basic setup to start. It is a bit like following a simple recipe for a cake. You always start with. This very first line tells the web browser that it is an HTML5 page, which is the modern standard. After that, you have an tag. This tag wraps all the content on the entire page. Inside the tag you will find two main sections. First, there is a section. This contains information about the page, like its title. Second, there is a section. This is where all your visible content, like text and images, will go. The tag is a small but very important part of your HTML. This tag always goes inside the section of your HTML document. The text you write between the opening and closing tags appears on the browser tab at the top of your screen. It also helps search engines like Google understand what your page is about. For example, you can write your title like this. This clearly tells everyone the topic of your page. It is a small detail, but it makes your page look professional. Make sure every single HTML page you create has a good, descriptive title. To add text content to your web page, we mainly use headings and paragraphs. Headings are like titles for different sections of your page. The tag is used for the most important heading. You can also use, and so on, for subheadings of decreasing importance. Paragraphs are created using the tag. This tag is for your main blocks of text. For instance, you might write, all of these tags, like and must go inside the section of your HTML document. They help structure your content clearly for all your readers. Sometimes you will need to list things on your page. HTML has special tags just for making lists. An unordered list, which usually shows up with bullet points, uses the tag. Each item that you want to include in the list must be wrapped in a tag, which stands for list item. For example, if you wanted to list some fruits, your HTML code would look like this. This simple structure helps to present information in a very clear, neat, and organized way. Lists are extremely useful for many different types of content you might want to put on your website. You could list your favorite hobbies or perhaps the steps in a recipe. CSS is what we use to make our HTML look great. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS tells all the HTML elements on your page how they should look and be presented. You can write your CSS rules in a completely separate file, often named something like. Alternatively, especially for very simple pages, you can put your CSS code inside tags. These tags usually go inside the HTML section. CSS rules generally have two main parts, a selector and a declaration. The selector is what picks the HTML element you want to style, such as a heading or a paragraph. The declaration then says exactly how to style it. Colors can make your website much more interesting and lively. With CSS, you can easily change the background color of the entire page. You can also change the color of your text. For example, to make the background of your page a soft, light blue color, you can use a CSS rule like this. The selector targets the whole page. If you wanted to make your main heading text a nice dark green color, you might write a rule like this. These very simple CSS rules can make a huge visual difference to your web page's appearance. The font you choose for your text greatly affects how easy it is for people to read your content. It also plays a big part in the overall style and feel of your page. CSS allows you to set the property for your text elements. You can choose from many common and widely available fonts like Arial, Verdana, or Times New Roman. For example, to set the font for all the paragraphs on your page to Arial, you would write this CSS rule. The part is a good backup. It tells the browser to use any available sans serif font if Arial cannot be found on the user's computer. Good font choices really improve the user experience. Adjusting the spacing on your page is very important for creating a clean and professional look. CSS can control the amount of space around and inside your HTML elements. The property is used to add space outside an element, creating distance between it and other elements. The property, on the other hand, adds space inside an element specifically between the content, like text, and its border. For example, you could add some extra space below your main heading to separate it from the paragraph that follows. This pushes other content further down. Good spacing makes your page feel less cluttered and much easier for people to read and understand. Well done on creating your very first web page. You have learned a lot of new things today. You learned what a website is and why it is useful. You discovered how HTML is used to give a web page its basic structure. You also saw how CSS is used to add style and make the page look attractive. Most importantly, you successfully built a very basic web page using these fundamental tools of web development. This is a truly fantastic first step into the exciting world of making websites. You should be very proud of what you have managed to create today. Every single web developer, even the experts, started with these same simple building blocks. You are officially on your way now. Here are some helpful tips for new website builders like yourself. The most important thing is to keep practicing what you have learned. The more you build and experiment with HTML and CSS, the better and more confident you will become. Please do not worry about making mistakes along the way. Mistakes are a completely normal and essential part of learning how to code. In fact, you often learn the most from figuring out what went wrong. Try to look at the HTML and CSS code of other simple websites you find online. You can learn many new tricks from them. Also, always try to keep your HTML and CSS code neat, organized, and easy to read. This will help you understand it when you come back to it later. So what can you learn next on your web development adventure? There is so much more to discover and explore. You can start by learning more HTML tags. For example, the tag is very important. It allows you to create links to other pages on the internet, or even to other sections of your own page. The tag lets you add images directly into your site, making it more visual. You can also dive deeper into CSS and explore more styling properties. Learn how to change font sizes with, or how to align your text to the center, left, or right using. There are many great websites, tutorials, and books available that can teach you all these things and much more. Your web adventure truly continues from this point forward. Building websites can be a lot of fun and incredibly rewarding. It can also be a very useful skill to have. You could create a personal blog to share your thoughts. You could make a website for your favorite hobby or a local club. Maybe one day, with more practice and learning, you will build big, complex websites for businesses or organizations. The skills you are learning right now, HTML and CSS, are the absolute foundation for all of that future potential. So keep learning with enthusiasm, keep experimenting and trying new things. The internet is a vast and exciting place, and you now have the power to add your own unique creations to it. Enjoy the journey ahead.